Hello there, Crime Salad listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Crime Salad. My name is Ashley.
And I'm Ricky.
And for this week, we are covering the unsolved murders of Keyona Griffin and Cherletta Baber-Bey. For those of you who may have been longtime Crime Salad listeners, you may remember us covering this case. However, I feel so passionate to keep this story alive because I hate seeing that her and her aunt and her family never received justice. Now, before we jump into this one, please be warned that there are some graphic detail in this episode that may be triggering or disturbing to some listeners. So listener discretion is advised.
You've been warned.
911 emergency.
Hi, I need help.
Hello?
I need help.
Okay, where are you located? I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't hear you. Are you able to tell me where you're located?
No.
Are you at a...
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast. Please hurry now.
Okay, I got Sheldon. What's the number?
553. Hurry, please hurry up.
553 Sheldon. Okay, can you tell me what's going on there?
Just hurry up, please. I'm gonna die. You're trying to kill me. You already killed my auntie. Just hurry up, please.
Okay, ma'am, I'll start the police that way. Can you tell me what your name is?
Keyona.
Who's the person who's causing trouble there?
Please hurry up. Man, you got to kill me. Please hurry up.
Okay, I've got a call entered, so we're going to get the police started that way, all right? Can you tell me what room of the house you're in?
So what you just heard is the chilling call made by 25-year-old Keyona Griffin on March 13th, 2019. She was desperately pleading for help for the police to come and save her life, hoping that they would be there in a matter of minutes, burst through the door. But other obstacles came into play, and sadly, that was the last time she was ever heard alive again. Her tone and urgency in the call invited the police to go inside the home of 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as she likely was hiding inside a bathroom, whispering to the dispatcher that she was going to die and her aunt had been killed. Her aunt being 47 years old, Cherletta Baber-Bey, who went by the name Cher, lived together at the house with Jackie Baber-Bey, who is Cher's mother and Keyona's grandmother. But they weren't the only people who lived in this house. The other person who lived there was Cher's 47-year-old boyfriend, Jay Johnson. Now, ironically, Keyona had recently told her mother she was thinking of moving out of her grandmother's house because of Cher's boyfriend. The two clashed repeatedly, and Keyona thought her aunt's boyfriend was a controlling loser. He didn't work, he didn't have a phone, he didn't even use social media, and he was a believer in conspiracy theories. He wouldn't even use email because he didn't want the government to be able to track him via a paycheck or phone line. For the most part, the odd boyfriend, Jay, he kept to himself and rarely left Cher's room. Despite Cher's age, Jay was her first boyfriend, so her family put up with him because he seemed to make Cher happy. Cher's mother, Jackie, said that people might describe Cher as odd too. She would take Cher to the library, and it was there that she met Jay. The two hit it off immediately, and it was soon after that he moved in with the family in the 2-story yellow house owned by Jackie Baber-Bey. But on the day that Keyona called 911, Jay was nowhere to be found. In fact, it would take police just 7 minutes to arrive at the 2-story yellow house on Sheldon Avenue. Because of a miscommunication with the 911 operator, the police didn't believe that they had exigent circumstances to enter the home. Of course, that wasn't true. Keyona stated during the 911 call that she was afraid of being killed and her aunt was already dead. Alarming words, really. That alone gave them the opportunity to enter the home. However, here's where the miscommunication happened. The 911 operator said there was a possible assault, but he also said it could be someone who was mentally impaired. Isn't it just so strange to you that the dispatcher would just package it up to the police like that?
Right. I think the general assumption that he made, especially saying that this might be someone who is mentally impaired, is inexcusable. Like, there's keywords here that definitely say emergency. Like, you have to treat everything as if it's possibly the worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
I would think.
Yeah. The dispatcher is not seeing what is truly happening. I mean, Keyona, she's saying someone is dead in her house, her aunt specifically. And it's just alarming how it wasn't taken seriously. Now later, this led to criticism for both the operator and the police department for failing to enter the home. Body cam footage showed that the officers arrived at the address that they were given, and they were at the house for about 3 minutes and 42 seconds. Pretty specific, but
it's not a long time either.
This call looked interesting. I'm trying to kill her. Sounds like she could be 96 too, you know.
Now, they knocked on the door. Nobody answered. All of the doors were locked. They walked around the house. It seemed quiet. It appeared that no one was home. There was a red car in the driveway, but other than that, no one came to the door. One officer walked around the back and they looked through the dining room window. There were no signs of foul play from what they could see, and so they left.
They just left? She specifically said, I think, in the clip, I'm going to die.
This would turn out to be a mistake because 2 hours and 18 minutes later, another call was made to 911 from the same house on Sheldon Road.
Oh, man.
Keyona! 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 Keyona!
911 emergency.
Come to 553 Sheldon. My sister's not moving.
What's the address?
553 Sheldon. There's blood everywhere. My sister's not moving.
Okay, stand on line. You said shirt?
Sheldon, 553 Sheldon, Southeast. It's a yellow house. Please, hurry up.
553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast, so correct?
Yes, please.
You said she's not breathing.
I don't know. She's not moving. I'm holding her head, please.
Okay, alrighty. Stand on line with me. I do have fire and police on the way. Stand on line with me. We're going to connect over to medical, okay?
Please, please.
And you said that there's blood everywhere?
There's blood everywhere.
Did she cut herself or try to commit suicide?
I don't know. She's doing her job.
Grand Rapids here. I pre-alerted already for 553 Sheldon Avenue Southeast.
553 Sheldon Southeast?
Yes. Pre-alert already for a female there not breathing. Caller says she sees a lot of blood.
All right. Caller?
Oh, please.
Ma'am?
Oh, my Lord.
Ma'am, I have help on the way. I have a few questions. Tell me.
Is she back here? Come on. Is she back here? Oh, my God.
Ma'am, I need to know what's going on there. Tell me what's going on.
Not a man with her brother. I don't know. She's naked. I usually stop over here before I go to work to my granny house, and her friend was over here outside. We came in, and I didn't even come upstairs. Her friend did, and she here naked. Blood everywhere, please.
Okay.
Keyona!
All right. How old is she?
She's 20. She born in 94.
Okay.
94. She's about 29.
All right, I need
She's
to...
not moving, Keyona!
Ma'am, they're on the way. I need to ask you, is she breathing? Ma'am, is she breathing?
I'm not a ma'am. No, I'm her brother.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Please come home.
They're on their way there. I need to know if she's breathing. Med 1.
Like her arms broke.
Med 1 is not 911 on.
Okay.
Well, you can stay on.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, my God.
Stay on.
Okay. Where is she bleeding from?
I don't know. It just looks somebody stabbed her. Right here. Yeah, somebody stabbed her or something.
She's been stabbed?
Yes, it's blood everywhere. My little sister is naked. Please come home.
Okay. Sir, they're on the way, okay?
All right.
Is she breathing?
No, I don't know. I don't know how to tell. She's not moving. I'm yelling at her. She's not moving.
Okay.
Please.
All right, they're on the way there. I need you to tell me now every time she takes a breath in. I need to know if she's breathing.
Oh, no, she's not moving. It's like she's
not breathing.
Everywhere, like she's been bleeding for a long time.
Okay. All right, we're going to stage on this one as well. Okay.
Please, come on.
That was Sanford Cummings in the recording. Unfortunately, he found his sister Keyona Griffin naked, covered in blood, and unresponsive. What a horrible thing to walk into. My heart hurts so much for him that he had to walk in to that house and see his sister like this. In the call, he is begging the operator to send someone to save his sister, but it was already too late. Keyona Griffin had likely died shortly after she abruptly ended her 911 call a few hours earlier. When police arrived, they determined that Keyona had been shot fatally 4 times and once in the face. Police also found 47-year-old Cher lying in her bed on her side with earbuds still in her ears. An iPad had been propped up on a pillow, and it looked like the person who killed her had quietly walked up behind her, shot her once in the back of the head, execution style. She was likely never aware of the imminent threat. There didn't seem to be signs of a struggle or argument. The iPad was still playing when officers arrived. According to Cher's family, they described her as a loving, trustworthy, and lovely woman who avoided social situations. Jay was her first true love, and they spent the majority of their time together in her bedroom.
Wow. So he killed her.
Yeah, and Keyona. Now, of course, the police immediately, they want to speak with this Jay guy, but he was nowhere to be found. In fact, they learned that the name Jay Johnson didn't exist, at least not on paper. So police are scattering. Who is this man? Police do some digging and they find an orange Nike shoebox shoved up high on one of the shelves in Cher's closet. And in the box were letters between Cher and an inmate who signed all of his prison letters as Jay. But this name didn't match with the inmate number on the envelopes nor the fingerprints. Those both corresponded to someone named Derrell Demon Brown. Police discovered that Cher's boyfriend was really a dangerous man with a violent history of abuse against women.
Wow, go figure.
So the strange behavior sensed by Keyona before she was attacked, how he was always paranoid of the government tapping into his phone line, kind of makes sense. Now, as for Cher, she thought that her boyfriend was briefly in jail for failure to pay child support or something minor. But that wasn't the whole story. Cher was never aware of her boyfriend's violent past and history of terrorizing women.
So Cher met Jay or Derrell at the library, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did she maybe kind of meet him and then he went to prison and that's when they communicated? Like at some point, he must have created this alias, right?
Yeah. And we'll soon learn that he has a few different aliases. The police, they also found a bag that was close to the crime scene that was filled with ammunition and a 9mm pistol. The serial number on the gun matched a box for a gun that was found in one of Cher's drawers inside her bedroom. And also inside the gun box was a receipt with the name of the original purchaser of the gun. Police were able to trace that back to a previous girlfriend of Derrell's who had reported the gun stolen back in 2017. And at the same time, she had filed a complaint against her boyfriend, who was named Jay Johnson, for harassment. So he used the same alias. The two had broken up because Jay, who's really Derrell, was controlling and began stalking her. From there, police discovered the next piece in the puzzle. Prior to meeting Cher, Derrell had been homeless. And while he was homeless, he was going through a trash bin behind a church. Robert Dean, the Reverend for the New Life Church of God, encountered Derrell down on his luck, and he offered him a hand up. For some reason, this is one of the few times that Derrell used his real name. The Reverend offered him free room and board along with a small salary in exchange for odd jobs and maintenance around the church, including landscaping, shoveling snow, and small repairs. But that all ended about 3 months later when Reverend Dean received a call from a woman who wanted to discuss her boyfriend named Jay. The Reverend, of course, set the appointment and quickly understood that the man that she was referring to as Jay was in fact his new hire named Derrell. Now, Derrell, he was a hard worker. He was quiet and unassuming, which made the woman's story hard to believe. She told him that she had been dating this guy for several months and she found him to be quite sweet and charming. However, lately his behavior had changed, which was causing her distress. He had become controlling and was making odd demands from her, one of which was that she was never allowed to talk to any man under any circumstances. And if he found her talking to a man, he had threatened her with violence. This woman was a grocery store clerk, which often required her to talk to men. And it was small interactions like this that had begun interfering with her job and her relationship with Derrell. She was hoping that the Reverend could talk to Derrell and explain to him that these demands were unreasonable. But Derrell was there that day and saw his girlfriend enter the Reverend's office. This enraged him that she would go behind his back and interfere with his job. But more importantly, that she was alone in an office with this man, even a man of God.
Small world.
Yeah, really. There were no exceptions to Derrell's demand that she never speak to another man under any circumstances. In a fit of anger, he barged into the office and approached his girlfriend with an open hand about to assault her before the Reverend stepped in and stopped him. He told her that he intended to slap her for disobeying him, and the Reverend, of course, tried to talk sense into Derrell and told him these demands and his actions were beyond a normal expectation in a relationship. The conversation devolved to the point that Reverend Dean told Derrell to pack his things and leave the church immediately and to never contact this woman again. He told Derrell to seek professional help and, quote, stop terrorizing defenseless women. Later, Reverend Dean would have great regrets, feeling like he should have done more to help Derrell and avoid the violence that was to come. Now, of course, there wasn't any way he would have known what kind of violence Derrell was capable of. However, this wasn't the only incident of assaulting women. So back in 2005, Derrell was arrested for felony assault on his girlfriend and mother of one of his children. He viciously attacked her over a period of hours, including overnight, where he bound her hands and feet with rope, he urinated on her body, and kicked her in the face repeatedly, all while her 4 children were terrified upstairs in their beds. But he wasn't done. He also doused her with lighter fluid and for hours terrorized her with a lighter threatening to set her on fire and burn her alive.
So why wasn't he in jail?
Right? Now, throughout the night, he threatened to kill her, her children, and then himself. By the next morning, he had calmed down when her children began to awake and they needed their mother. And for some reason, he allowed her to walk her daughters to the bus stop to go to school. Once the driver opened the door, this woman, who was covered in blood and bruises, jumped onto the bus and begged for the driver to close the door and keep driving. Now, under normal circumstances, a driver would never allow any adult, parent or not, to ride on the bus with children, but this driver sensed this was a life or death situation and drove off with the terrified woman and her children.
Good on them. Wow.
Now, later, she pressed charges against Derrell, and he was arrested for aggravated assault and attempted murder. Unfortunately, later, as is common with victims of domestic abuse, it was described that she failed to cooperate with his prosecution. Derrell had begged her for forgiveness and promised to change. He made her believe he would not get the kind of help he wanted and needed while locked up, and as a result, tried to drop the charges. Without her cooperation, the prosecutor was forced to offer him a plea deal. They offered Derrell a plea deal for misdemeanor domestic violence, which comes with a maximum sentence in Michigan of 3 months in jail or 90 days and a $500 fine.
So what happened to the children? I hope she got them.
Oh, I'm sure. But I think in this situation, being that she's a victim, I'm hoping that she just found a safe place and just got out of that situation and just kept her and her kids safe.
Yeah, cut them out altogether.
Now, once police realized who their suspect was and his violent history, they wanted to get him into custody as soon as possible to prevent him from hurting anyone else. About 2 hours after the bodies were found on Sheldon Drive, surveillance footage captured Derrell only a mile from the crime scene. He was spotted again until a few hours later, where surveillance video captured him at the Grand Rapids, Michigan Children's Museum. He entered the building at 3:24 p.m. and he exited at 3:36 p.m., just 12 minutes later. And on the video, you can see him approach someone at the front desk. It appears that he's asking for someone, like he's looking for someone specifically to speak with them for a few moments. It is surmised that the person he wanted to speak with was a relative of his who gave him either money or a ride to help him escape. He is caught again on surveillance camera about 20 minutes later on a traffic camera in a residential neighborhood. And that's the last he was ever seen.
This happened in 2019, so 2024 now. Is he still on the run?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, March 19th of 2019.
So what, like,
when this happened.
Like 5.5 years or something has gone by.
Yeah. And I would like to add, he has gone by the aliases J.J. Robinson, Michael Richardson, and Marcus Wright. And also the other one, Jay Johnson. I doubt he goes by Derrell now because of all of what we know and what the police know.
Yeah, no way.
Now, if you remember Jackie Baber-Bey, who is the grandmother of Keyona and the mother of Cher, she gave a statement to Wood TV and stated, quote, "There were no red flags at all. That's the reason why this is so maddening. What went wrong in that short span of time? This man blindsided all of us. He betrayed us."
It does make you wonder what happened, though, because, for instance, Cher had AirPods in or whatever, watching an iPad. It wasn't like it was this heated exchange that just turned violent.
Yeah, like she didn't even know he was going to attack her.
It's weird.
Yeah. But that's not where this tragedy ends. So on June 10th of 2020, Jackie Baber-Bey, along with her daughter, who would be Keyona's mother, her grandson, Sanford, who is Keyona's brother, and his 5-year-old son, all got together at the yellow 2-story house on Sheldon Drive for a private memorial for their loved ones. It was right after the pandemic lockdowns had ended and families were all beginning to get together again. They wanted to honor their loved ones with family and fellowship, and that's exactly what they did. They lit candles and sat out on the screened porch and told stories about Cher and Keyona, and they laughed and they cried together. Then Sanford's son EJ wanted to spend the night with his great-grandma Jackie. EJ was described as a pleasant handful full of energy. His favorite activity was playing Roblox on his iPad. So Sanford and Keyona's mother, they went home, and they decided to let the candles burn out themselves. Unfortunately, while Jackie and EJ were sleeping, the candles set the porch on fire. At 9:02 a.m. the next morning, there was a report of a house fire. The firefighters arrived quickly, but the entire front of the house was engulfed in flames. Jackie took EJ to a back bedroom where they hoped to be rescued. Unfortunately, they both succumbed to smoke inhalation.
Jesus, that's terrible.
Yeah. This family has endured unimaginable loss, all stemming from the evil acts of Derrell Brown.
Jeez.
Now, in order for this family to regain any measure of justice, Derrell Demon Brown needs to be captured. He needs to be taken off the streets and tried for his evil acts on March 13th of 2019. In July of 2021, U.S. Marshals intensified their search efforts by designating Derrell Brown as one of the country's 15 most wanted criminals, which includes a $25,000 reward for information leading to his location and capture. Bruce Norden, acting U.S. Marshal of the Western District of Michigan, stated, quote, Derrell Brown has lived in Grand Rapids his entire life, but he has relatives in Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, and Ohio, with ties spanning this far and wide across the country. We are broadening our search and asking the public to remain vigilant. He looks very unassuming and could literally be standing behind you in a grocery checkout line. They described Brown as plain and ordinary looking and appears mild-mannered and harmless. However, he is anything but.
What's scary is he's most likely the boyfriend to someone under some random alias.
Yeah.
And the woman has no idea.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that would be the case because it worked before.
Yeah.
The Grand Rapids Police Department released a statement saying, quote, we need the community's help locating Derrell Demon Brown, who is wanted in the homicides of Keyona Griffin and Cherletta Baber-Bey. Derrell is 47 years old, 5'8", and 180 pounds. He could be in the Columbus, Ohio, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or the Atlanta, Georgia areas. Call police at 616-456-2400 with any information. So Derrell Brown, a suspected killer, remains at large and could be hiding in plain sight. He's known to avoid using social media, bank accounts, or holding a job, raising concerns he could be in any local area, potentially scouting new victims. Derrell, who reportedly met one of his victims at a library, blends into everyday scenes, making him quite elusive. So what can we do? We can stay alert, keep an eye out in public places, and be mindful of your surroundings. We can also spread the word. Share his wanted poster on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. We'll also have that information in our social media. So I'll be posting that. If you want to screenshot it or just share it, that's totally fine too. Just keep in mind that this guy is armed and dangerous. So don't approach him. And report any sightings. If you believe you've seen Derrell Brown, contact the authorities immediately. And again, do not approach him. Despite a $25,000 reward for information leading to his capture, Derrell Brown is believed to be receiving assistance to evade law enforcement, and your vigilance can make a difference. For any tips, contact the U.S. Marshals Service or local law enforcement directly. Stay safe and vigilant. Your action could prevent future tragedies and bring justice for the victims and their families. And that completes this week's episode of Crime Salad, the unsolved murders of Keyona Griffin and Cherletta Baber-Bey. And if you enjoyed this episode or you enjoyed Crime Salad, let us know.
We had some good ones last week.
Really?
Do you want to hear one?
Yeah.
All right. So, from Lily Frog, I like the name.
Cute name.
Great pod. Her voice is really my favorite out of all the podcasts I listen to. Great banter, not annoying like some other pods that do the same with husband and wife pairs. Great choices and cases, all around a solid choice to subscribe to.
Oh, that is so sweet. Lily, you're always welcome in our pod.
Lily Pad Pod. All right, and we have another one. This is from CYDIEEE.
Maybe it's Cindy. It says, love y'all. Thanks for putting in so much time into these and for always emphasizing awareness. Keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all great. Aww.
Y'all sweet. That's a Southern review.
Are you from Tennessee? I loved Tennessee when we were there.
Tennessee or Georgia or something.
You know where I'm from? We say yins.
Yins.
I don't say it, but a lot of people do.
Iron
City Bear. All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening and supporting Crime Salad. We really, really appreciate it. We hope you like this episode, and you can subscribe if you'd like, if you're kind of sick of the ads. I mean, I get it. I don't like ads either, personally.
Me either.
But they do support our show.
Baby's got to eat.
Yeah. Baby's got to eat. And my son, who is 3, every Friday we get a monster truck. So I tell him, if I work on this podcast, we can go get a monster truck on Friday.
There you go.
Tomorrow, which is kind of cool because that's our thing.
Funding the monster truck addiction.
Thank you all. And we will see you next week.